What's going on, guys? T-Mart here, and today we're going to be taking a little bit closer look at some of the rare weapons of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So, if you guys don't know, there's a new thing coming to IW called salvage, and this is kind of like a currency of sorts. You earn it by playing the game, completing challenges, that sort of thing, and then you can use this salvage to be able to craft special weapons. And these special weapons are split up into 4 different types. There's common, rare, legendary, and epic, and of course that sounds really familiar. That's the different tiers of loot we have today in Black Ops 3. Well, as you get rarer on the scale, like as you move up in rarity, the guns are going to start looking a little bit differently. They're going to look a little bit better, and then they're also going to start to gain some of these different attributes where some are a little bit more useful than others. And although we haven't seen this in action yet, like it wasn't available at COD XP or EGX or any of the other events where IW has been playable, we do have a couple of examples of what to expect from this sort of thing based off some trailers, and I want to give you guys those examples. So check out this little clip from a trailer right here.
Let's take a look at the EBR 800. The common model of this hybrid sniper rifle comes with the gun perk Stockpile, which grants increased ammo. The rare model of the weapon comes with Jackpot, which gives you a bonus 10% additional score for all kills, plus readiness for faster reload.
Alright, so that actually sounds pretty sick. So because this guy had this one specific type of EBR 800, the 2 attributes, or actually they're called gun perks. The 2 gun perks on this weapon were, number 1, he's getting 10% extra score for every kill, so he's going to be earning his score streaks quicker, and then 2, he's got faster reload. So obviously both of those are very, very useful. Now, I want to go through because we have 10 other examples of weapons in Infinite Warfare and what type of gun perks they're getting from those weapons. I found it kind of interesting. I wanted to share with you guys, and it's not really that common of knowledge. So we've got 3 examples of common weapons, 1 example of a rare weapon, and then 6 examples of epic weapons, which is all pretty exciting. So starting off at the bottom here, our first one is going to be a common type 2, and this one has a gun perk for reduced hipfire spread. This is very useful, particularly on this weapon. The type 2 is actually an assault rifle you split up into akimbo SMGs, so having a tighter hipfire spread is going to be very, very important there. Next up, we've got a common KBS longbow, which is the sniper of choice up until this point. Reduced idle sway when aiming down sight. Obviously, that's very important for you hardscopers out there. Next up, we've got a common banshee, reduced recoil. Anytime you have a weapon that has reduced recoil, that's going to be very, very useful, so of course that's good. Next up, we've got our first and only rare, an NV4, which this weapon's actually really, really good. I encourage you guys to check it out when you get your hands in the game, but it's got increased damage range, so you're going to be able to kill people in fewer bullets from farther distances with this weapon, which is pretty cool. Now, moving on, we've got 6 more, all of which are epics, and obviously epic rarity items or epic rarity weapons have the best bonuses that you're gonna get. So starting off here, we've got an epic ERAD. This one gets an underbarrel shotgun with regenerating ammo. So basically, you have a shotgun underneath your weapon. It's kind of like instead of having a nuke tube, you've got a shotgun, and the ammo regenerates. You're never gonna run out. It prints on itself, which is pretty cool. Next up, we've got an epic Titan. This one has a custom reticle, which to me is kind of pointless, but it's also got reduced recoil, which of course is very, very useful. Next up, we've got an epic Mauler that has double damage for a slower fire rate. So you're doubling the damage of the weapon and then slowing down your fire rate. I'm curious to see how that works. Does it have your fire rate? Because if it's less than half, then that's a pretty good trade-off to make. So we'll have to wait and see for that. It also has increased damage range. So not only are you doubling your damage, but you're also increasing the damage you do over range, which is insane. So obviously that turns it into a very, very powerful weapon. Next up, we've got the KBS longbow again, this time with an epic variant, and this one has it where when you're scoped in, the mini-map stays up. So obviously that's very useful. You're still going to be able to see where your teammates are, what's going on, if you have a UAV up, stuff like that, even when you're zoomed in, and it also gives it an increased ammo count, which is, I don't know, I guess that's pretty good, but the one thing I was excited about here is the minimap staying up. Next up, we've got an epic Volt, and this one changes from a full auto to a semi-auto for more damage and less idle sway. So that's kind of interesting there. The semi-auto is already going to be much, much more accurate, but then you're also adding more damage and less idle sway, so maybe that could be pretty good. And finally, last but certainly not least, my favorite one up until this point, my favorite one out of everything we've seen so far is this right here, this epic Ripper. So not only does it look really, really cool, it's also got a very interesting gun perk. Bonus damage towards the groin instead of your headshots. So instead of getting a headshot multiplier for shooting people in the head, you're gonna get a groin multiplier for shooting people in the nuts. And obviously that's kind of funny. It's something a little bit different. It's kind of fresh and new, but it's also kind of useful if you think about it. Like, a lot of people tend to aim towards center mass, so this is a weapon that will help you out with that if you aim center mass maybe a little bit lower. But yeah, it's kind of interesting there. You also get reduced tip spread. So it's kind of cool to see them, you know, having fun with it, but also adding in some actual useful upgrades to the weapon. So it should be interesting to see how this works out. I just hope it's done right. Obviously, we've had a big fiasco with supply drops the past couple of years, and everything about this screams supply drops at me. And if supply drops are in the game, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. We just have to have other ways to be able to earn it that aren't way too grindy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, if you want to have any sort of a fighting chance at getting some of those weapon variants and different weapons and stuff like that, you need to buy supply drops. You can't earn them fast enough. So as long as there's a legitimate way for us to be able to get like weapon bribes and stuff like that without paying money, then I think it's going to be okay. But if it's just another year where it's a lot of people having to pay to be able to get these things, it's going to be even more frustrating. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm hopeful. I think we've kind of learned over the past couple of years as to what to do and what not to do. Black Ops 3 has definitely gotten better than Advanced Warfare was, so hopefully Infinite Warfare follows suit and gets a little bit better than Black Ops 3 was. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace out.